think I speak for a lot of us when I say that lately, you wake up, things are fine, and you go about your day, but there's something that just doesn't feel right anymore. And it's possibly because of this. But what if I told you there was a small handheld object that you could make and take with you everywhere you go, or just have on you that could help with this? Will this be life-changing?
Maybe. Maybe not.
If you'll allow me, I'd like to show you how to make this thing and tell you why it might help. So, you take the blue cord. The story ends, you wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red cord. You stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. A wise choice. But now getting back to the subject matter at hand, we won't need much for this project, just some paracord and a couple of balls. Bearings, that is. It's going to start off with a 2-strand, 2-color monkey's fist. We're using a much smaller ball bearing in this version. 2 passes with the first color going vertically. The remaining 2 passes will be made with the secondary color. Now, as I was saying, I need to preface this with the very obvious fact that I'm not any sort of expert in neuroscience or anything of that nature. I am only a paracord scientist, but in this electric age of information, entertainment, notifications, and just overstimulation in general, I think I can speak from some personal experience that both you and I are going through something similar. That very moment we feel a slight lull in whatever it is that we're paying attention to, or even a slight dip in our mood, we often pull out the smartphone that makes you dumb and you just start scrolling. And I do realize that it is slightly ironic that I'm about to preach to you, quite possibly from one of these devices, but stick with me on this and I promise you'll possibly come out feeling a little bit better. But we go on our phones and often watch short-form content for that quick hit of dopamine. The problem is we often do this so much that our dopamine receptors are just getting burnt out. And if you're not familiar with the role of dopamine, to make it super simple, it's a complex hormone and neurotransmitter in your brain that plays a major role in how we feel pleasure, seek rewards, and stay motivated. Now a quick note about this starting monkey's fist. 2 passes on all sides, but it will look like there is a 3rd pass on the front and right side, but that's kind of just like a false pass, if you will, and you'll see why when the monkey's fist is tightened. Back to what I was talking about though, and I don't know about you all, but I have been struggling with staying motivated this past summer, and it wasn't until 2 weeks ago that I made some major changes to my daily habits that have really started to help me. One of which was focusing on the very work that's unraveling before your very eyes. Oh, and this next part of the monkey's fist is optional, but I'm going to hide the standing end cords by tucking them under and pulling them into the monkey's fist. If you don't want to do this step, just snip them off and melt them where they are, if you don't mind seeing the melts, so it's up to you. Now another thing I wanted to mention, but not only that, I've made a conscious effort to consume less stimulation in the first 2/3 of my day. As I've found that the more overstimulated that I am, the less likely I am to be motivated to do anything productive, like making YouTube videos. The key that I've found is to find the reward in the work. Now that doesn't mean you're not allowed to do anything fun. You can still do fun and rewarding things, but just try to do things that are fun, but maybe a bit less overstimulating, like making something out of paracord. I've also been having less things playing in the background like podcasts or music. Again, nothing wrong with enjoying these things, but if you do too much, it just becomes noise and you forget about the beauty of silence. If you really need something to listen to, maybe try some nature sounds or beach sounds. Even better, if you have the opportunity, take some paracord and go make something outside. Now, while I am far from your very own personal Morpheus, I still have to explain to you what it is we're making.
Do you want to know what it is?
Some of you that have been with me for some time now probably knew from the get-go, but this is a knuckle roller. Now when we get to the second monkey's fist, we're going to start the first set of passes with the opposite color you started the first one with. So I started with orange, which means I'm starting the second one with gray. 1 set of passes with gray and the second 2 sets with orange. As I was saying about knuckle rollers, they are a concept not unfamiliar to the channel at all, as I've reviewed professionally made ones from around Square, and I've made paracord ones several years ago. But I think this micro monkey's fist iteration is the best one yet. It's the perfect size and weight for something that can go into the pocket and be taken everywhere with you. It even just about matches the dimensions of the acclaimed round square knuckle roller. So, how can this little toy heal your mind? It's simple. Don't see this as a fidget toy, but see it more of as a meditation toy. You see, oftentimes when the body is doing something like a mindless physical task, such as taking a walk or showering, our minds tend to have some stillness, which is often why we get ideas on walks or while in the shower. So, I implore you to perhaps try something like this knuckle roller when you're out and about, or if you're just bored at home. You feel that itch in your brain to check your phone and start scrolling? I'd say don't. Use something like this to keep your hands busy with something to do. Speaking of keeping your hands busy, now, from there we're just going to cinch all the slack out and work the monkey's fist so that it's right up against the middle joining snake knots. Like I said about the knuckle rollers, but at the same time, it doesn't send you down a spiral of an hour-long doom scroll. It's stimulating just enough to stave off some minor boredom, but your mind will still be free to think about the things you need to think about. You might have some problems to solve, and who knows, maybe, just maybe if you're looking for some change in your life and you want to feel better, this could help with that. This all being said though, playing with a paracord knuckle roller may not really be your style, and I totally get that. However, the very act of making something out of paracord could be a form of meditation or therapy as well. Now, perhaps not something you just randomly do when you're out at a coffee shop, but maybe it's something you can do at home instead of scrolling short form content. In terms of finishing this side, I'm just going to snip and melt them where they are, but check out this cool little hack for melting the orange side. Using a bit of orange fluff from the snipped off excess paracord, we can hide the white dot in the center of the melted cord. A nice clean melt. This third iteration of the paracord knuckle roller is ready, and I'd say it's just a fun and interesting little paracord totem you can keep in your pocket with you wherever you go, or if you're a homebody like me, just have it on your desk. When the noise of the world gets a bit too strong, just taking a deep breath and twiddling with this knuckle roller can give you a moment's peace and some time to think in this crazy world and time that we live in.
Should I include that as well?